Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon review series. In this episode, we're going to be going over the Sudowoodo. Now, Sudowoodo is kind of a bit of a sad Pokemon. It comes off as really strong if you look at it at its base level, but it's kind of deceptive. And I think there's a couple reasons that we should be on the lookout of why this guy is deceptive. Now, it's a skill specialist, slumbering type, which is typical for rock types. But it's a skill specialist with charge strength M, which has a lot of potential, especially with this 7.2% skill trigger rate. That is a really high skill trigger rate, especially for charge strength M. In fact, if we compare it to the other Pokemon with that specialty and that skill, like the Ampharos only has a 4.7% skill trigger rate, and Espeon only 4.4%. So it's got the highest skill trigger rate of the three, and if you look at it at base value, it really looks like it's the best. Just by looking at this, you can see that it produces about the same amount as the Ampharos. But this isn't telling the full picture, because really the reason why the Sudowoodo does well is because of its inventory. Now that sounds weird because it only has one evolution, but so this inventory isn't as high as what the Ampharos can get with 2 stages of evolution. However, it is tremendously slow. It is, I believe it is currently the slowest fully evolved Pokemon, aside from maybe Slacking, which is just terrible. Let's see, does it compare to the Slacking? I'm pretty certain it's actually slower than the Slacking. Okay, where's Slacking? Sorry about this. Technical difficulties, please hold. Fine, I'll filter it more. Normal type. There we go. Let's see. Slacking. Hour 3 minutes. So yeah, he's slower than the Slacking. Slowest fully evolved Pokemon in the game. Slower than some mid and base evolutions. So, this guy, he's not giving you any berries. He's not really giving you any ingredients. He's got an okay ingredient rate, but that doesn't really matter on Skill Specialist with a small ingredient. And especially when it's this slow, it's just never going to be proccing anything, aside from maybe a skill here and there. And realistically, the only reason why he comes out on top is because he's so slow that he almost never fills his inventory, which means he really has inventory. The Ampharos and Espeon have some inventory issues, the Sudowoodo just doesn't. And you can see that if you just sleep with the Pokemon for 2,000 hours, negating those inventory issues on the Ampharos and Espeon, he actually gets significantly worse than them. And that gets even worse if you give them, like, inventory up L, where they reach the point where really the inventory is not a problem at all. Additionally, the Rockberry, I mean, it's nice at top, but so maybe he could have a bit of a niche filling this role at top specifically, but that's not really worth your skill seed investment, especially since you have to give him an extra skill seed over the Ampharos. So, like, overall, this guy, there's just the better option. Now, as for his ingredients list, he's got tomatoes, he's got soybeans, and he's got mushrooms. So if we kind of want to use him to, like, fill in a little bit and make up a little bit for, like, lacking in ingredients elsewhere, I mean, he does have tomatoes and mushrooms, which is a part of the new highest addition in the game, but, like, he's not making anywhere near this amount. He'd be supplementary to other Pokemon. So there's a tiny amount of synergy there. And soybeans, actually. So interestingly, he could supplement a decent amount of the hidden power perk up stew, but even a team of 4 Sudowoodos with the ABC list isn't going to come close to what you need for even the mushroom requirement, which is the C ingredient. So, I mean, not really much to be said about that. That's most of the synergy that I see throughout this list. And that was literally just added to the game. and in crazy amounts that he cannot really achieve. I guess the Water Veil Tofu Salad you could run him in, but I don't really recommend below... Well, I guess that is the bottom of my line. But that line's probably going to be shifting here with new higher power meals, so really not much for his ingredients. And like I said, he's not going to be producing much anyway because of just how bonkers slow he is. Overall, I think he's one of the most deceptive Pokemon in the game, because I think it's really easy for new players to latch onto this and be like, whoa, he's got high numbers, because that Charge Strength M is just a very powerful skill, especially when brought to level 7. And given that he has such a high skill trigger rate, he's proccing it actually a decent amount. But it's very easy to see why it doesn't matter that he's really good at what he does, because he's really bad at everything else. Which the other Pokemon, there's just more you can do with it. But really, him, you have to commit fully to Charge Strength M. And even when you do commit fully to Charge Strength M, he's the weakest option of the 3 that we have. So, overall, I wouldn't ever recommend the Sudowoodo. He's not worth your skill seeds. If you happen to catch a phenomenally statted one, then maybe you can find usage for him. Like, if he's got the skill trigger M, skill trigger S, help speed M, main skill chance up nature, then you know what, sure, you can invest. But my real question is, why are you catching a Sudowoodo to begin with? They're not even worth your biscuits. Don't invest in this guy. If you, for some reason, want to hunt him, Cyan Beach, Lapis Lakeside. If it's your favorite Pokemon in the game, if you really like Sudowoodo's design, then yeah, Cyan Beach, Lapis Lakeside. He's pretty easy to evolve. It only takes 20 candies. That's actually, like, probably the easiest Pokemon to evolve in this entire game. Level 12. That actually competes with Butterfree for the easiest Pokemon to evolve, so... Maybe right away catch a Bonsly, evolve it right away, just so you have at least one fully evolved Pokemon that has a level 2 main skill and is proccing a little bit, but you're not going to be carrying this guy with you. You're not going to be hunting him. Even in that circumstance, I wouldn't recommend it. So, yeah, that's all I have to say for the Sudowoodo. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something.